Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another weekly edition of Timeout Talks with Ben and Josh, streaming on the Kirk Minahan Show Network, also streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. Timeout Talks is brought to you by Chase and Throws Custom T-shirts and accessories, the Ice Shaker, Make It Mac, and we are now proudly a part of the Kirk Minahan Show Network. Ben, how's it going? Glad to be back on another fine Tuesday.
Always great to be back, Josh. Shout out to everybody. Love being on the network. A little tough start again with the revised Final Four. It was really a little rough one. I'm still going to root for my Boilermakers, but it's still pretty rough for me. It hasn't been a good tournament. Women's tournament on the other side been great. You know, great little watch over there. Had a little classic game. Iowa, LSU, Caitlin Clark killing it over there. So trying to watch my odds today. Just gonna let everyone know where's Mike at watching my odds. But the revised one, just going Boilermakers right now, Josh. I'm all in on the Boilermakers. Let's go Zach Edey. I'm excited for this one, Josh.
Oh, 100%. We've got a lot to talk about today on the docket. We're going to be talking men and women's Final Four preview. We'll get into some Elite Eight recap as well. We've got a little bit to talk about with the MLB opening week, a couple of the benches clearing in baseball. So the fights, we're already getting into that. Yankees off to a hot start. Red Sox about 500 5 games in. Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of hey, we're feeling good in New York right now, so we will talk about that. And Ben, this was a Ben special. Is the Warriors dynasty over? We're going to dive a little bit more into that this week. We touched up on that a little bit last week. And of course, some latest NBA news. We'll look at the standings, Bruins talk, all that, and your comments as well. But first comment in here, Erin, she is ready to kick off our show. And of course, we got a couple hate comments, but that's all right. That's what it's all about.
I knew I was going to get a couple in there, Josh. I love it. Give me the hate comments, Josh. It fuels us over here. But no one's gonna love us all the time, so I appreciate it. But no, it's an exciting show. Got to give you credit on the Yankees. There's Jackson. What up, Jackson?
There he is, baby.
I know I want to give you credit for the Yankees and everything like that. I know you've been pretty excited. Soto's been looking great, but just wanted to start off with the March Madness. You know, UConn's been rolling, Josh. It's looking like a wagon. It's looking like it's easy money for them. Someone's got to stop them. I think it's going to be Purdue. Like I teased it a little over there. So, no, I don't really see, we got the Alabama over here too. Marcus Sears has been having a great postseason, leading the nation in points per game, points just total this tournament. He's been killing it. UConn, just the wagon, obviously. There's my guy, Zach Edey. I got to stick with them, Josh. Like I said, in my first Final Four and the revised Final Four, I've had them going through there. I maybe should have stuck with them for the champion. Everyone's been fading them, for all these years. So I gotta stick with Purdue right now. I should have put them in there. I don't know what I was thinking with Baylor. It was a stupid pick. I'm down on the Big 12 right now, but I'm excited for the rest of the matchups. NC State, DJ Burns, exciting to watch over there. Maybe getting some NFL takes too. So I know some GMs express interest in him playing in the NFL. I don't really know. I kind of like him on the NBA. I like this comparison. I think it was from Israel Gutierrez. He kind of compared him to Zach Randolph. If he gets a little more in shape and everything, I think that could be a nice little NBA comp for him getting into the NBA. So I think he should stick with the NBA. Don't go to the NFL. So, but as Cheese said, boiler up. Josh, that's what I'm going to continue with that. Let's go Boilermakers. Zach Edey's been dominant so far. I think he's the only guy that can stop that UConn team.
Oh, 100%. Here is the Final Four preview right here that Ben was alluding to. Alabama, Crimson Tide. They went by a very dominant Clemson team, which, kind of in my gut, although I love Alabama, Roll Tide. I always kind of had a weird feeling Clemson was going to beat them. Purdue, they find their way into the Final Four. NC State, they are just killing it. Number 11 seed, finding their way in. And of course, the UConn Huskies trying to look for back-to-back championships. Also, men and women's team in the Final Four there, Ben. So going to be an interesting little docket there. That is next Saturday, I believe. Both of the Final Four matchups will be. And as you mentioned, some interesting games coming out of the women's NCAA matchups. You got Paige Beckers kind of killing it. That's my girl. Caitlin Clark here eliminating the defending champion LSU. We've got South Carolina, making it. And of course, right here is the preview. NC State and UConn both in the Final Four for men's and women. So interesting little thing there. And Iowa and South Carolina also making it in. So should be interesting. And just really thinking about one point I kind of wanted to bring into Timeout Talks is how far, the marketing for women's basketball has come. I mean, the WNBA has been talking about more. And to be completely honest with you, Ben, I feel like the NCAA has been more interesting than the WNBA. And that isn't like a whole controversial take. I'm not looking to, throw any shade, but it's just been so interesting. And, the matchups last night were unbelievable. The NC State game on Friday, I'm completely blanking on who they were playing, but that was
Stanford.
In fourth game with Stanford. So getting really good level of play from both sides of it, men's and women's. And hey, the marketing for it has been great.
Yeah, Josh, totally agree with that. Yeah, NCAA for the women's side was dominated by UConn, as you see right here, Paige Beckers. Before her time, UConn had that dominant stretch from 2012-16, winning 4 straight. They were beating teams by an average of 39 points in the tournament. So the women's game was a little lackluster. It was just kind of UConn versus the field. So I kind of get everyone's fascination with the men's over it. Kind of just bet UConn. So it was just kind of different back in the day over there. So I think it's a little. I think it's got a little more variety now. Got a little more variety with some of these players. UConn, Paige Beckers, obviously, Caitlin Clark, Iowa, Angel Reese, Flo-J. Wood Johnson over there, LSU defending champs. That Iowa rivalry, that was just kind of a great matchup to see. Iowa had a little added motivation, I think, in this matchup. I think they're going to come back down to earth a little against this UConn one. Another little tease right there, but as you mentioned too, the NC State Stanford game, I believe that was OT. That was a thriller. Cameron Brink for that Stanford side, leading the way. That she had she was a great postseason for them. So there's been a couple of great games, and obviously South Carolina kind of taken over that UConn role these past couple of years, being that dominant force under Dawn Staley, undefeated so far this season. So it's just it's had a little more better storylines, honestly, than the men's side. Men's side just kind of UConn, who's going to beat UConn, kind of role reversal with the women's and men's side. UConn's been the wagon. I'm just going to keep saying that through the whole show, wagon, just like my odds. But yeah, it's just been too easy for UConn over there. So the women's side, Caitlin Clark's just been.
It sounds fun to me, but just anything to throw a bet off.
No, I get that one. That's pretty funny. I like that one. I'm just excited for the women's. The women's side, Josh. Point out, great point. I mean, the women's side's been exciting. Just a lot better storylines. This Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese storyline. Iowa getting the revenge last night. Let's see if they can top UConn, who's been such a dominant force for so many years. Can anybody beat South Carolina? Can they dethrone them as sort of the new UConn, just as I laid out? But a little more storylines over there. DJ Burns, nice little emerging storyline over there for the men's side. I think Zach Edey's going to stop him over there, but I have to agree with you, Josh. I know it's a shocker for everybody. Me and Josh agreeing on that one, but the women's side's had better storylines than the men's so far.
100%, 100%, 1,000%. Where's the 1,000%?
Get the 1,000% out.
Here we go. We got James on it. 1,000%. We're off and rolling. We're talking NCAA men's and women's. You can see your women's matchups this Friday. You got NC State taking on the number 1 seed South Carolina. That is Friday, 7 p.m. And that is followed by UConn, Paige Beckers going up against Caitlin Clark in a must-see showdown this Friday, 9:30. And then on the men's side of things, Saturday night's slate, you've got 11 seed NC State going up against Purdue, the number 1 seed there, and followed by Alabama, the number 4 seed, taking on UConn. I am praying to God that NC State can get a win and Alabama. I'd like to see NC State and Alabama in the championship. If not, I'll settle for Purdue and Alabama. But I'm done with UConn. The thing I love about March Madness is, kind of the unpredicting and just how random it could be and the luck of the draw. But I don't know. UConn just absolutely annihilating everybody. And like you said, the storylines on the women's side of things have just been kind of more interesting. And there's no shade. That's just how I feel.
No shade to the men's side over there. So I think both UConn teams are going to advance, Josh. And sorry for your NC State, but here we go. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Aaron, for that. So there we go. We'll get to that Zach comment too. But I think both NC State teams are going to be gone, Josh. Sorry. They've been great stories so far. DJ Burns, as I mentioned, great story. Got a nice supporting cast over there, NC State, and obviously on the women's side, taking down Cameron Brink and Stanford again on this nice little run for them. They weren't expected to go on. They were expected to win a couple games over there, but not this length of a run. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for those teams, especially on the men's side for NC State. They weren't even expected to be in the tournament. Kind of just got into the tournament by winning the ACC title, beating North Carolina again, which was huge. So great story for them. But I think, unfortunately, both stories are going to end. But give me both UConns, Josh. Both UConns. I know Caitlin Clark's, the best player in the country and all that, but I'm gonna take UConn. You gotta give me Gino Auriemma. Give me the fundamentals. Give me the foundation. UConn's been around forever. UConn's been winning program for all these years. I think they're going to get back to their winning ways. Paige Beckers could, give Caitlin Clark a run for her money for the best player in the country. I still give it to Caitlin Clark, but Paige Beckers is right behind her. So I'm going to take both UConns in there. But Josh, Purdue, like I said, that's my main point with this. My main point with the March Madness. Boiler up, Michi, everybody over there in Indiana. Let's go. Boiler up. Because that's the only shot to beat UConn over there.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that there could be a legitimate chance that we see both, and you've already kind of alluded to, we could see both UConn teams in the national championship game for men and for the women. But we'll have to wait and see. This weekend, going to be interesting. Got the last Final Four. I mean, I'm completely done. I know we were talking about your revised Final Four. Yeah, my Final Four is literally only Purdue left in it. I didn't have UConn, I didn't have Alabama, and I for sure didn't have NC State. Shout out the big guy over there for NC State, number 50. I forget what his name is, but he's been
DJ Burns.
It.
I think DJ Burns.
There you go. Yeah, DJ Burns. He's been killing it over there. But we're gonna switch up a little bit. We'll come back to basketball a little bit later with that little Warriors dynasty talk, and maybe that's coming to an end, as some would assume. But we're going to talk about baseball. I mean, an interesting start here in the Major League Baseball. Almost said National Baseball League. We've got benches clearing. Red Sox are doing pretty good right now. Yankees, Juan Soto, 5-0. Yankees are playing like the team I expected them to be 2 or 3 years ago. Ben, I know you're beating up on the Oakland A's. This team is borderline AAA baseball roster. Me and James were joking today at work about that. But did you expect the Red Sox to start the season above 500 5 games in? Or am I just way too early in this?
It might be a little too early on this, Josh. It's not surprising, but it's not, disappointing. It's not surprising to me right now, but it's kind of what expectations should be. I didn't believe they were these ones, but as a Red Sox team that's always around, always winning, they did put so much money into this team, not so much anymore. They're just tradition. They traditionally should be a good team. Expectations should be like this. Kind of 3-2. They should be around here, but the division I think is just going to be a little tougher for them to reach some of those expectations. But I could see this, Josh. I didn't see us winning that Mariners series, but with these A's games and these A's series we're going to see throughout the year, we're going to have to take advantage of it. We can't be losing to these lower tier teams, as you and Jimmy pointed out. Probably a AAA team. No offense to them, I really don't want to throw too much shade on the A's. I kind of like the A's, but it was just good to see us split a series against the Mariners. I shouldn't say I'm surprised, Josh. I'm pleased. That's what the word I'm looking for. I'm pleased because this is what this Red Sox team should be. They still have the talents. I know we're not putting all the money into it and everything like that, but we still have a roster that should be competing. Unfortunately, the division's going to, hamper that a little. But no, I'm pleased. I'm not surprised with the 3-2 result. I'm pleased. It was nice to see us split that series against the Mariners with talent like J-Rod. another guy's over there. I gotta get a little better with that one. But J-Rod's good enough. J-Rod is an all-star. Going to be one of the faces of the MLB pretty soon, if he's not already. So it's good to split them. Nice to see Josh. I'm getting some of my news from my baseball correspondent, Jake Cunningham from work. The pitching staff has been looking great so far under new supervision from Andrew Bailey, new pitching coach. Pavetta and Houck had great starts over there. The bullpens. That was a really big one for us. And it was a big concern. I got that.
There he is.
I saw that one.
I had to put him in there.
No, we gotta get that one in there. I'm gonna get through my. I'm gonna go a little quiet too. I'm gonna get through my Red Sox one. We gotta give the floor to Josh. It's his time to shine. The Yankees killing it right now. Juan Soto just meeting expectations and above. So. Got to give Josh the floor on that one. But Red Sox, I'm pleased with it right now, Josh. I'm pleased with taking, at half, splitting with the Mariners and doing our job so far with the A's. Because, last year we lost a couple of these series that we should have won, and that hindered that progress. So if we can get, these series wins against the A's and some of these lower tier teams, I'll be pleased with the Red Sox. So pleased right now. Pitching's looking good. The hitting will come around too, Josh. This team's too good, but hitting wise, too deep. It will come around.
Oh, for sure. I mean, this is the expectations for the Red Sox aren't, sky high this year. I mean, you're 3-2. You're playing. You're beating up against the A's. That's what you're supposed to do. That's why they're on the schedule. That should be an easy, however many games. Let me quickly check. I mean, I think this is a 4-game set or 3-game set. You take 2 out of the 3. Hopefully, you get the sweep, which probably could happen. But yeah, they got another game today, followed by tomorrow, and then they start on the next series against the Angels. So, if you're a Red Sox fan, you got to be happy, Ben. I mean, this whole offseason has just been slander, not going out and getting guys. They go out and they go get Giolito. He gets hurt. Chris Sale gets traded away. They finally are starting to move on from that 2017 team, that 2018 team, those memories that we, as, baseball fans remember the Red Sox having a good team. All those guys are gone. Now it's time to move forward. You've got the Canelo Rafaelas out there. You've got the Waldezes. You've got, no more Bogarts. Betts is gone, who's been absolutely on fire. Jarren Duran, who's been killing it. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Tristan Cassis is okay. I know it's James's guy, but I'll pivot my point there. I think the Red Sox are doing what they have to do, above 500 right now. But as you mentioned, early season, and that goes the same for my Yankees. I know Jackson from Australia here. Unbelievable. You sweep my Astros, then we go on and throw a no-hitter. I mean, Jackson, we had to do it. I mean, you guys have owned us. I actually was surprised to hear that the last 7 games, the Yankees have beaten the Astros. But aside from that, you talk about the ALCS in 2017. You talk about 2022. It's just, or 2021, the calendar year of 2021, I believe. But it's just over and over and over again. The Astros had our number. It felt great to go into this season 4-0. Juan Soto, I mean, he brings just a different dynamic to this Yankees team, Ben. I mean, they're working counts. They're playing super patient in the box. I mean, the pitching has been unbelievable. Luis Hill, unbelievable in his first performance. I mean, they take the red hot Diamondbacks, who are just coming off of a championship appearance. They take them to the brink. They went on the road. They cannot be stopped. And then they're winning close games where you look at a year ago, you look at 2 years ago, they wouldn't have been able to close those games out. I've heard a lot of negative talk about, Clay Holmes has been kind of shaky and Loizac has let up a couple runs. But again, this bullpen's been pretty good. Weaver got banged up yesterday, but what does this Yankees team do so far in this small sample? They go out and they get runs in very big fashion. They go on a 3-run inning, then they get another couple runs the next inning, and they're limiting the score. I mean, the total score, 5-2. They get the win yesterday. It's super early. I'm not going to do jumping jacks in my backyard. I'm not going to run around the streets of Waltham with James. Cool. And I know it would be kind of cool, but cool. I think the biggest thing right now in, Rob saying now we are them dogs. You say 5-0 and, Zach over here, Yankees 5-0, Tigers 5-0, Pirates, who will be the last undefeated team. Hopefully it's us, but I think the biggest thing right now for the Yankees is to keep this momentum moving forward. Hopefully, I mean, and another thing, Ben, I know I'm kind of throwing a lot at you here, but they've been aggressive. They've made a couple trades. They went out and got Jake Cousins. That's Kirk Cousins' cousin. They're trying. They realize the bullpen's been an issue right now. They're going out. They're getting a somewhat steady arm. I think he was on the White Sox. He's okay. Jake Cousins not going to he's not the next Mariano Rivera by any means. But again, they realize their weaknesses. They're trying to go out. I will give Cashman a little bit of credit because I bashed him all year last year. I thought that they needed to make some changes. What happens? You get Juan Soto, who's been unbelievable. I know it's a rental, but hopefully they can cash in. And that was going to kind of be my next point then. I want to see the Yankees continue this success. I don't want to see them flame out like they did 2 or 3 years ago. But the biggest thing for me is re-sign Juan Soto. I don't care if Cashman and the Steinbrenners have to pull out I don't care if they pull out a check and say, you write the total. They have to keep this guy. He brings a swagger to this team like no one else. I know we love Aaron Judge, Stanton's okay, and Garrett Cole's my guy, but this guy Juan Soto brings it all. He's younger than me and you both, Ben. He's probably younger than every single person in this chat that's commented. He's 25 years old. He's already got a World Series ring on his fingers. He's got the experience. I mean, this guy is meant to be in New York hitting short porch. And that's the thing, Ben. They're 5-0, and he hasn't even been to the short porch in New York yet. I love it. I love what the Yankees are doing, but I will say I'm going to dial it down a little bit. I'm not saying they're going to win it all. I'm not saying we're going to be hoisting an MLB trophy. I'm not saying we're going to go to the World Series and win. My expectation, yes, it is World Series or bust. That's kind of always the dealio there with the Yankees. Always all in. Always make a good run, at least make the World Series in my eyes. But Ben, I can tell you this. I for sure expect this team to make a deep run in the playoffs. I know it's 5 games early and it's early, but looking at that AL East, seeing some younger teams like the Orioles, not fully there yet. The Toronto Blue Jays taking a couple steps back last year, and the Rays, Red Sox, don't really know what to expect from them. I think this should be the Yankees' year to kind of push the throttle, get a division win, and get a good seed.
They have to, Josh. This is it. This is already setting up to be one of the best years ever for them. I don't think they've really ever started 5-0, except I think 4 other times in their history. Kind of crazy. It's just for such a winning Yankees history. I hate to say it, but you got to give credit where credit's due. Just they've always been winning for so many years. You thought they would start at 5-0 a couple more times, but they haven't. So this is really one of the best starts they could ever imagine. As Jackson pointed out, tough for Jackson to see his Astros go down like that. But as you illustrated too, Josh, I mean, Soto has handprints all over that series. That big throw out in the first game in the 9th, saving that game, had a clutch home run. In Game 3, it was just, we just littered the series with RBI. So he already made his presence felt, getting on base, forcing that error. I got to give it to my baseball correspondent again, Jake, but it's the role players for me, for the Yankees, that really stepping up. Volpe and Cabrera, some of these youngsters, they're going to have to step up and, sort of help, Stanton, Soto, Judge, those superstars are going to perform, but for the Yankees, you got to have those role players step up. And so far, it's been pretty good for them. Josh brought it up too, stopping those red hot Diamondbacks. That's my team. I love the Diamondbacks. Not really my team, just love
fun team to watch.
Fun team to root for. We were rooting for them last year in the postseason. So we got to root for my Diamondbacks. That one, just excited to see them be good. We get over there in that NL West, but Yankees stopped them. Yankees halted them pretty easily. So you got to give the Yankees the credit where it stinks, but you got to give it to them. 5-0. And I think they're going to be to answer Zach's question, I think they're going to be the team that lasts the longest. I didn't even realize the Tigers are undefeated. Sorry, Zach. Zach's a big Tigers fan, so I got to double check that. Actually, I don't know if the Tigers. I don't know how credible. I got to believe Zach on that. Sometimes Zach tries to trick us with some of those stats. I got to double check. But yeah, shout out to Pittsburgh too. Pirates always kind of start out hot. They were kind of like the Orioles before the Orioles kind of became like this balanced team that's just going to be around for a while. The Orioles would always start out hot and kind of tank, obviously, in the middle of the season and the end. The Pirates kind of doing that. So good to see them start out hot. Let's see if they can sort of get there throughout the whole season. I don't think so, but good to see them. Good to see them start out like that. Shout out the Pittsburgh. You gotta give love to the other Pittsburgh teams. I don't really like them, but no love to the Penguins, Josh. Sorry, I gotta exclude the Penguins. I'm not giving love to the Penguins team, but the Yankees, hate to see it. They're the best right now, Josh. They're the best.
It's early though. It's early. I mean, it's a rat race and it's a gauntlet. I mean, this is 5 games out of 162. Still got 157 left to go on paper. Their next couple matchups, their next series, they still got 2 more. They've got 1 more tonight. 9:40 against the Diamondbacks. That'll be an interesting one. Nestor Cortez on the mound for them. Then you've got another one against the Diamondbacks tomorrow, and then you go Blue Jays for a 3-game set, and then Marlins for a 3-game set. So we'll be got our little hands full there. Got a nice little divisional matchup showdown there with the Blue Jays next. But yeah, just got to keep that momentum moving forward. And before we move on to the NBA, I had to. Jackson makes such a good point. I didn't even make a graphic for this guy. I mean, we watched history yesterday. This guy, Ronel Blanco, the first, I think that he is the only person in MLB history, I could be wrong on this, the only person in MLB history to throw a no-hitter in his first career start, which is insane. I mean, that's his first career start. This guy was fighting for a position come, spring training. He didn't even have position on the team. A couple guys go down. They're still waiting for Verlander. And I mean, it was crazy. I mean, the pitch count, he was barely over 100. I remember watching it last night. Shout out Cam Monagle. He's been on the show. Merrimack. I'm a Merrimack guy there. But
Merrimack.
I mean, just no hitter early in the season and in the league. And Ben, I'm going to be completely honest. I know I've said this before, like my love for baseball's back, but now is the time to get back. I mean, you're seeing the benches clear. You're seeing, the Juan Soto Flair New York show. No hitter last night. I mean, it's been great. It's been a huge start. The MLB opening week has been awesome. And I'm not even just saying that because the Yankees are undefeated. I'm saying that because the quality of baseball has been great, Ben. Shout out to the Astros. Sorry, Jackson, you guys got swept. But hey, you go out and you absolutely stomp on the throat of the Blue Jays in a 10-0 victory and a complete no-hitter. So shout out to Blanco for that one.
I think Josh is a little happy because of the Yankees. They might have to do something with that. I'm not going to totally give him scot-free out on that one. I think he's a little happy because of the Yankees starting. Who wouldn't be? The Yankees starting out great. But yeah, the Blue Jays kind of strange, Josh. I don't know what's going on. The Blue Jays getting no hit. The bench is clear and brawl. This is kind of weird from the Blue Jays kind of doing all this right now. I thought it's a little more talented team. Hopefully the Red Sox can take advantage of that so we get a little ahead of them in the division. But yeah, we had a great opening week so far, Josh. Got to agree on that one as usual. But come on. It's just great to see baseball back, great to get everything going again. You need something substitute for football a little, especially when basketball is going to be gone soon. We only got 9 games left in the NBA regular season, I believe. So going to be tough once that's gone. Can't wait for the postseason, NHL postseason too. One of the best out there, for all the major sports. But baseball is going to have to take precedence soon, Josh. So it's going to be tough, but I gotta get a little more acquainted with it. Let's go Red Sox though.
Oh, 100%. We are gonna switch gears here and let's get to an interesting one here. This is one this is gonna be Ben driven, but what is it? Have we finally seen the end to this Warriors run? I mean, this is a team that has just been unbelievable, has taken over the NBA. Us Celtics fans had to sit there and watch them beat us. I mean, we went up in the series 2-1. I mean, they've got arguably the two, between the two of them, top 10 3-point shooters of all time between Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, the all-time 3-point leader in Steph Curry. I mean, I could go on and on about how dominant. I mean, from the beginning, from my high school years to my early high school years to pretty much last year, they've had this great reign. I know it's been on and off. It hasn't been every single year, but they have been unbelievable. Recently though, we've seen a little bit of weird behavior from Draymond Green. I don't even think they made the playoffs last year. They were in the play-in tournament, or they're still hovering around that right now. But as Ben was kind of talking about last week, and this is kind of one of our biggest points, is this it? Is the Warriors dynasty done?
I think so, Josh. I think so. Don't want to just hype it up because I pitched it, but it's a pretty good one. I just can't see him going from this one, Josh. Can't see him just rebuilding from this. Draymond just clearly isn't clicking with everybody. This ejection just kind of seems to be the breaking point, obviously, literally and physically. Steph breaking down a little emotionally. So I think for the Warriors, unfortunately, sorry, Borky. Good listener over there. Shout out to Borky. It's a little joy in this ever since the finals loss. A little joy in the Warriors' demise. But you got to give them credit. You got to give them their flowers. One of the best trio ever. Did some great stuff over there, beating LeBron a couple times. But I think it's just over, Josh. It's the NBA, that Western Conference is past. And then, unfortunately, Steph can still play. Steph can still do his thing out there. Still lead that team. But Draymond and Clay, I think they're a thing of the past, unfortunately, right now. Clay obviously having his problems throughout the whole year, going from the bench to starting, not finding consistent minutes over there. Him just not being able to shoot for some parts of the season. Draymond obviously having his suspension, everything that just goes along with Draymond, multiple ejections. I just think it's over. The Wiseman, obviously, draft pick hasn't worked out, hasn't panned out, not going to pan out. So that one just was kind of supposed to help them revive it. Kuminga's looking great. I mean, Kuminga has been a nice hit for them. Hopefully, he can sort of give them a little rejuvenation. But I think overall, just for the Warriors, they enjoyed this nice run, but the Western Conference is passing them. Seeing these teams like the Mavs, Pelicans, ex-Pelicans. I'm not saying the Rockets are better than them, but the Rockets are contending to. The Rockets are fighting the Red Hot right now. Tough loss to the Mavs, but they're fighting against that play-in tournament. They're right behind the Warriors right now, a couple games back. So I just think, unfortunately for the Warriors, Steph's holding them all together. It's done. But they're one of the greatest dynasties we've ever seen, if not the greatest. You gotta give them that. So I don't really, like I said, I don't really like doing it. Don't really like giving them credit at all, but you got to. So I think overall, it's done so. It's done so, Josh. They're still going to be good. Steph is obviously going to bring that team just together. He's one of the best players in the league still, just best shooter of all time. I'll give you those two are top 7 shooters of all time, Josh. I'll go down from the low top 10. But yeah, as she said, hopefully the Rockets pass Golden State. That'd be nice. Nice for that young Rockets team to get some playoff exposure, playing exposure, I should say.
Oh, 100%. I mean, right now, 40-34. When I was talking about it earlier, I was like, oh, damn, that's actually a pretty good record. But just, again, I know every week in, week out, we talk about this gauntlet of the Western Conference. I mean, you look at the 10th seed in the Western Conference, we'll go all the way to the Rockets 11 seed, that's above 500. Then you look at the Eastern Conference, and then all the way to the 9th seed is under 500. I know it's a little different, as you were saying, and the West is East is more top heavy. The West is very, very much a rat race in terms of talent. But yeah, I mean, to your point, Ben, they were the 6th seed last year, so my mistake on that, but didn't really have that far of a playoff run. I mean, they're kind of just done since that championship win against the Celtics. And again, I don't want this to sound too negative because it's super hard for we can say 10 plus years, maybe 11 or 12, that the Golden State Warriors have kind of ruled the NBA. I mean, they have 4 championships, 3 championships? I can't even keep count. No, they have 2 with Durant, I believe.
I think they had 4.
They have 4 championships since we were in high school, Ben, in 2015. I mean, that's insane. I mean, it's very unheard of. And it's just right now, I think at some point things come to an end. I mean, as you're seeing, it's slowly starting to happen. Stephen Curry's been unbelievable, but there's been slow little adjustments, Ben. We're seeing Klay Thompson flirting with the bench and, kind of not always starting every single night. As you've mentioned, Draymond Green, who I had in fantasy basketball, and I want to wring him by his neck, has been in and out of the lineup. He's been suspended this season for his acts on the court, off the court, both. I mean, it's kind of unraveled a little bit here, Ben. And as you mentioned, James Wiseman doesn't even play for the team anymore. He plays for the Detroit Pistons, who I thought he was going to fit in like glue as well. I thought that was going to be a great draft pick. Sometimes that happens. You're not going to hit on everything. But again, side note, I think the Warriors little run is over, Ben, I'm not even going to sit here and pretend that if they get in, they can make some noise and we should watch out. I don't think so, Ben. I think the way the Rockets have been playing is pretty good. You got you and Chi making a good point on that, but I think the Warriors I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I think that they will somehow find a way into the play-in tournament. I don't see them getting out of that. I don't see them getting a top 8, top 6 seed. I don't see them making it to the second round or even the first round of the playoffs, excluding the play-in. I'm sorry, but as to your point, all great things must come to an end. We saw it in New England. We saw it here. We saw it with the Celtics way back in the day. And unfortunately, it's happening with the Warriors now, or maybe it is fortunate for some fans.
Yeah, I'll throw myself in that fortunate one, Josh. But all good things got to come to an end. Unfortunately for, I like that one from Chi over there. Unfortunately for the Rockets, the Warriors, and the Rockets are just beginning. Unfortunately for the Warriors, might be an end. Steph still can play. Steph still got it. I believe that someone asked that last week if we could see him going somewhere else. No, I think he's going to be there for life. But that's an interesting question. That would be great fit on another team. Could make a team an instant contender, if not, a championship contender. I think he should flirt with how he did, but I think he's going to be there for life. Get that jersey retired, all that. But for the Warriors, it's done. And I'm thinking about that one now. Any lower seeds, try to make some noises this year. I gotta give it to gotta get a better setup. Okay. I don't mind my setup. I like this setup. But another one in there. But I like the Pelicans. I like the Pelicans for Zach's team over there. Make some noise. Zion Williamson finally getting there. Finally starting to get his game together. Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum leading the team over there for so many. They've been consistent for so many years. Zion Williamson finally getting his act together. So I think the Pelicans can make some noise. I know I always joke around with Zach, but I could definitely see them making some noise, causing a little upsets. Don't forget about the Mavs. Luke is making his MVP push. I think he's going to definitely get it now. He's just been going kind of crazy. Sort of this 9-1 the past 10 games for the Mavericks, pulling themselves out of that play-in tournament, contending with the Clippers. They got a couple of key games right now. Maybe they can try to pass the Clippers to secure themselves even more into the playoff position. Maybe grab that 4 seed over them. But I could see the Mavs or the Pelicans. I like that one for Chi.
Oh, 100%, Ben. They're on a 7-game win streak for the Mavs. They're killing it. They're dialed in. They made a couple trades, getting PJ Washington from the Hornets. He's fit in like glue for them. And hey, this team that even the Kings, they've really kind of fallen down a little bit the ladder here, but that's a team you really got to you don't want to sleep on. De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, Keegan Murray, who went off the other day. Pelicans, I'm not so much in love with, but a team that I am really in love with, 7-3 on their last 10 games. I've been raving about this team for the last
here we go.
Since October, since it began. And that is the Los Angeles Lakers. I think that they have a chance. Last year they made it to the Western Conference Finals. Who saw that coming? Not I. This year, I think that they could make it happen again. That's kind of my magic 8-ball, big prediction pick is I see the Los Angeles Lakers. They can do it. Look at Austin Reeves. just a budding star. I could definitely see them going pretty far. That's one of the teams that I like. And another team that I was just kind of, I was already thinking about a little bit before. I was thinking about the potential return of Joel Embiid, and that was the Philadelphia 76ers. And I'm not going to get up on this mic and I'm not going to say the 76ers are going to beat the Celtics and the 76ers are going to knock out the Bucks and they're going to make all this noise. No, but I will say one thing. I think the Celtics, we'll talk about them a little bit later. I got some graphics. We'll definitely get into them. I'm surprised Lewis isn't in here. If somebody wants to tag him, he was very fired up about those 2 losses to the Hawks. So I want to get to some of his comments. Hopefully he's in here. We'll talk about that too, Ben. We'll get into that. But aside from that, the 76ers are an interesting team here, Ben. They're looking at the 8th seed right now. They are definitely safe to get in the play-in. The Hawks are 6.5 games above the Nets. We're approaching the end of the regular season here, but 76ers are going to be getting Joel Embiid back. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think that they could definitely hang around with teams like the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Orlando Magic, the Pacers, the Heat. I mean, those are all teams that are 3, 5, 6, 7 seed. Even the Heat, I think that they're better than the Heat. I think they can be better than the Heat too. I know everybody falls in love with Eric Spoelstra in the playoffs. I think things are a little bit different this year. Whatever. I digress. I think the 76ers can make some noise. I think the Lakers as well. I'm not going to throw the Knicks in there because I will agree with Jerry and James on this. I think that the Knicks are primed for at least the second round, if that. But I think the 76ers, Ben, could definitely make a little bit of noise. And I think that they are a team, to answer Cheese question, Charlie, that can make a little bit of noise as a later seed. I mean, they're the 8th seed. So, I mean, that's a pretty low seed. And hey, Mel, how's it going? Thanks for joining. And go Bruins. Hopefully we can get a win against the Predators tonight.
Let's go, Peas. Let's go, Peas. Getting Pat Maroon back, hopefully. James Van Riemsdyk joining that lineup, too. So the Bruins getting healthy at the right time. We'll slip that Bruins one real quick. We got the season finale, series finale, I should say, against the Panthers on Saturday. So hopefully we can get that one. Just get a little more points away from them. There was a key win a couple games ago against the Panthers, sort of edge away from them in the division. So good start from the Bruins over there. Let's go, Bees. Let's get healthy at the right time, make a little playoff push. So happy with the Bruins over there. Pavel Zacha, look out for him too. He's been playing great. Shout out to the Bruins, but I get back to the contenders one. I like that 76ers one, Josh. Shocker again. Me and Josh agreeing on that one, but they were the original one before, the Embiid injury for me. I think they were the scariest opponent. I said they were the scariest one, even with the Bucks in the Cavaliers playing the way they were, with a healthy Embiid, they scared me the most, especially adding the Buddy Hield from the trade deadline. Embiid was putting up better stats than he was in the MVP year. So Embiid was on track to have it, he was on track to be the MVP again, it looked like, and before this injury. So, you just see how important he is to the 76ers team. Just saw them falling from grace. Tyrese Maxey did everything he could, Josh. He's a great player and everything. Buddy Hield did his part too, but Joel Embiid is that team. He just plays such a pivotal role. They just weren't going to be the same team without him. That's why I saw such a decline in standings for them. Hopefully for the 76ers fans, this return against the Thunder tonight, as you mentioned, brings sort of some new life into them. They got a key game against the Heat Saturday as well, trying to gain some of that traction back, get out of the playing game. That's a key one. But I am scared of them. I am scared of this. This is great timing for them with getting a B back. It's not good for the Celtics fans, but I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried about that right now. I want to see how he gets back, how healthy he is, and I'm not too worried about those two Hawks ones, as you brought up from Lewis's standpoint too. Lewis probably going to get all over us for that one. Lewis not too happy with the Celtics when they perform like that, and neither am I. They just it's the gas pedal again. I'm going gas pedal. They just let the foot off the gas pedal and just play down to the competition, much like my Steelers sometimes in a different sport. But I want to make a nice little transition to that. They just play down to the Hawks. The Hawks in that second game. The second game was much worse, Josh. The first one, Tatum did the ISO again at the end of the game. If I see that one more time, I'm just done. He's got to stop doing the ISO at the top of the key and just getting God knows nothing over there. He's just trying to draw a foul and just chucks up a shot. I love you, Tatum. He's the best player, one of the best players in the NBA, if not the best. Make a bunch of debates for him, but he's just got to stop that ISO game. He's got to get better at the clutch time and crunch time. He's got to stop that ISO ball at the top of the key. Got to find something else, get some teammates involved, and just get overall better shot off. So I'm tired of that. But the second game, that second loss, Josh, scares me a little more for the Hawks. They really didn't have anybody. I don't know how we lost that one. I know Murray put up over 40. Murray was going crazy, doing his thing, obviously because really nobody on that Hawks team was there. I think half the starting lineup was out. Obviously, Trae Young was still out. So that second loss was very worrisome. It was a little more worrisome, but I think the Hawks are just trying to scrap for everything right now. A little more, they got a little more juice than us right now. We're just trying to get to the postseason healthy, unscathed. Let Porzingis get there. So I'm not too worried about those losses, but Josh, we just something to keep on the radar.
Oh, 100%. I mean, and to your point with Jason Tatum, this is my biggest gripe with him is just the complaining. I mean, sometimes they're not, they're getting up the floor. They're doing what they have to do. They're clawing back into games. I'll give them that. I mean, Ben, we can sit here and I can talk about how great that they are. I mean, they're clearly, aside from the Nuggets, it seems like, and that's right. It's fair to give the Nuggets their fair share. It's fair to say that the Nuggets are still arguably the best team in the league. We can go back and forth with that. Celtics are up there too. But, I mean, aside from that, the Celtics are arguably the best team in the league. Landslide best team in the Eastern Conference. I mean, they have just taken care of opponents night in, night out. Everything's been going great with this big four. I mean, Derek White, Porzingis, they have so many different options that they could just dial you down and dissect you with on this team, Ben. But one of my biggest issues with this Celtics team, and I think you might have alluded to it, and I know for a fact Lewis has talked about this all the time. And if somebody can tag Lewis that is watching on Facebook, please do that for me because I really want to hear what he has to say. The Celtics have an issue closing out games. I know you talked about Jason Tatum too. James has mentioned his stats. I mean, I can't quite find them at this very second, but I know it was maybe a month ago. They were talking about in crunch time, in shots to kind of decide the game. I don't know how they look at the analytics for that, but Jason Tatum was like 3 of 30. I mean, this is a guy who, again, we've fallen in love with some of his games where he's taken over against the Miami Heat. 2 years ago, he took over against the Milwaukee Bucks to push us to the NBA Finals. And again, this is not slander Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics minute, Ben. But again, sometimes they get very stagnant. I mean, the other night against the New Orleans Pelicans, I was a little happy to see they were playing with their food a little bit. The Pelicans were starting to claw back in, but the Celtics put their foot on the throat. They put their foot on the gas. They were able to kind of walk away with that lead in a convincing fashion on the road too against a tough team, as you mentioned, in the New Orleans Pelicans. Aside from that, though, Eastern Conference matchups with the Hawks. I know Charlie's mentioned this a little bit earlier. Would you want to play the Heat or the Hawks in the first round? He doesn't feel like it. And honestly, I think the Hawks could probably take 2 games in that series, maybe more than 1 game. I still will stand on my notion that the Boston Celtics won't see a Game 7 until the NBA Finals. That's my bold take. But aside from that, Ben, they have to figure out how to close games. They can't get stagnant. And like you said, sometimes they just live and die by the 3. That's fine. That's their Van Gundy, their Mike D'Antoni. He was the big run and gun guy. He lived and died by the 3. That's fine if Missoula wants to do that. But utilize your friggin' timeouts. Utilize minutes when you realize that the other team's going on an 8-0 run and you haven't scored a basket in almost 3 or 4 minutes. That happened so many times twice in the Atlanta Hawks game. They should have never came back to that. And again, Ben, I'm very, very confident that the Boston Celtics will have a deep run in the playoffs. I even said to you, we could win it all, and that is my only expectation. But I will say one thing. The blinders are on a little bit because a little bit of me and a little bit of this Boston Celtics team has shown shades of the past with their collapses and their struggles to close out games.
Yeah, you can never fully trust them, Josh, until we see it. Until we see it done. You can never trust them. They've gotten, like I've mentioned before in each with previous shows, they've accomplished everything this team can accomplish except that ultimate goal of the championship. They got in past the Heat that have caused them problems, Bucks caused them problems, got to the finals, won the finals, did everything they needed to with this team so far, with Tatum and Brown being together as this duo. Ever since we drafted them, they've accomplished everything just except that major goal. So they've just got to get to that point. That's it. That's it for this team. Just get to that point because there's really nothing else for them to argue or just talk about. We got to get to this championship or bust. I could see maybe a little Game 7 before. I'm not going to fully – that's a hot take from Josh. I'm going to give it to him on that one. I think some teams could push us, as we mentioned, the 76ers, Cavaliers playing great. Those big men could give us a couple problems, especially when Donovan Mitchell's playing like the way he has been in the second half of the season. Bucks, Dame, they're always going to be right there. As we mentioned, the Hawks. I mean, the Hawks have just given us problems ever since, even in the last postseason, taking a couple games from us. Just recently problems, too. There's just a good team. Trae Young gives us problems. They're deep. when they're healthy. Again, healthy right now, they're just sitting all these guys, and they still beat us. So I'm a little concerning on that one still, but I'm not too concerned with that one. And overall, just to answer Chief's point, I'd rather the Heat. He look a little more vulnerable right now. Hawks look a little more dangerous. The Heat I'm just not too scared of them right now. I think we've gotten over that hurdle. Jimmy Butler, always, I give him, playoff Jimmy. You always got to give him, his due. You can never trust what kind of Butler you're going to get out of there. But I think overall with that team, they're just not as good as previous Heat teams. So I would rather play them over the Hawks. Don't give me the Hawks. I don't want to deal with that. Give me the Heat.
I agree, Ben. I know Jared and these guys, they run around talking about the past. This Heat team is a different team. They lost a couple. They lost, I think, both of those guys. I mean, I don't even think Gabe Vincent's not on the Heat anymore. Yeah. I know that. And what's the other idiot's name? Caleb Martin. Is he still? He still might be on the team.
He still might be there. I think
he still might be there. But again, I mean, they were just a better team last year.
It was a big piece.
Huge. I mean, he was literally God. And that game 7 was insane. I mean, and again, the fact we got down 3-0, whatever. But aside from that, I'm not scared of them. And I'm just laughing at Freddie's comment here, Freddie Lynn. 76ers, I want what Ben is smoking. I will say Ben's getting a little bit of the blame there. I was the one. Freddie. Yeah, Freddie. James can hook that. Ben can hook that up. Excuse me. Jeez. But 76ers, I was the one saying I think that they could make a little bit of noise as a, kind of a later seed, 8th seed right now at the moment, could be flushed down to 9. It was Charlie's question there of which team would you not want to see, and I thought the 76ers. Side note here, I wanted to quickly, because I saw Zach's comment a while ago here, and again, I'm not going to change this into a WWE thing because guess what? I have an announcement in a second for some fans who might not know that I will make. But Zach saying, sources telling me Road Story ends Saturday night. Can you relate to it? And then we've got Aaron, someone else will take the reins for Road. So that's a little interesting there, throwing a little shade at Cody Rhodes and mentioning Roman Reigns' name. But before we get to Ricky's comment that I wanted to talk about, I just wanted to give a quick little shout out. Me and James will be on the Kirk Minahan Show Network and streaming to all Timeout Talks platforms, Twitter, I believe Rumble, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook for a WrestleMania 40 special that is this Thursday, not next Thursday, this Thursday, April 4th at 7 p.m. So tune in to that one. It will be a show you will not want to miss, and stories will be finished in predictions. So that's a quick little teaser there. But so tune into that one this Thursday, 7 o'clock. We'll get all the WWE fans. Get in there. Even the AEW supporters will take you. We'll take your comments. So it'll be fun on that. We'll be getting some of your comments as well. But before we get to that, and before we get to the end of our show, I just wanted to get to some of the comments here. And let's get to this one from Ricky. Shout out Ricky. We haven't seen Ricky in a while. The Red Sox will make the playoffs. This is an interesting one there. I mean, Ben, we're 5 games in early. I mean, Ben is
early, Ricky.
I was leaving this to you as a Red Sox fan.
A little early, Ricky. It was a perfect sort of preview of it, Josh. A little early right there, making these predictions. Great 3-2 start. As I said earlier, I'm going to sort of bring it full circle. Pleasing start. It was nice, please. I'm very pleased with 3-2 start. Let's get another win against these A's. Let's just beat up on these A's. Going to get these wins, but I just don't see us making the playoffs, unfortunately. Going to go back to another point. Division's too tough. We got Josh's Yankees cruising. The Rays are a very balanced team. Orioles, second best team in that division. I should have mentioned them. Even with losing Felix Bautista for the year from Tommy John, that bullpen is still deep. Still one of the best bullpens in just MLB. I was going to say AL, but in the NL too. I'm going to throw the NL in there as well. But just one of the more balanced teams out there. Blue Jays, I know I mentioned sort of they're going through some woes right now. We still got Vladdy Jr., Springer, that crew. Still Boba Shed is still going to light it up on the scoreboard. They're still going to get those hits. Is that pitching, that team just going to come around? We're going to see. But I think, unfortunately, the division is just going to clog that too much for us. Hopefully, we just don't finish dead last. That's what I want, Josh. I don't want us to finish dead last. I don't think the playoffs, unfortunately, for Ricky, I don't think the playoffs is going to be in the picture, I should say, but let's not finish dead last. That's what would make this a successful season for me. I don't know about any other Red Sox fans. I'm not going to speak for them, but for me, not finishing dead last. I think playoffs a little too much right now, just with the talent we got throughout these other divisions too. I think the Red Sox, unfortunately, just middle of the pack.
Middle of the pack is fair.
Don't finish last, Josh. Don't finish last.
They'll finish last in the
Don't
division.
Finish last. Don't finish last.
Don't.
Don't.
Okay. Do not finish last
Finish last
in the division. That's a Ben prediction. We'll get back to that. And hey, we've got plenty of baseball talk for you guys moving forward. We'll be talking more about the Red Sox, and I think that's a fair point. I mean, I think that they will hover, in our word of the day, flirt around 500. I think that's kind of the expectation. I think we'll be kind of surprised with some of these guys like the Raffellas, the Brian Bayos who take their next step, the Tristan Cassises, the Jaron Durans, not those star names you're used to like Rafael Devers, the Chris Sales, the Bogarts, the Betts, all those guys that most of them, majority, have moved on. But again, Ben, they're doing kind of what they have to do to stay in games. I think that'll kind of be, the tune for them this season. I'm very interested in seeing how this rotation does moving forward. It's Tanner Houck, my guy. I have advocated for him for so many years, had 10 Ks last night. But again, it's still a weird sample that we saw against the Oakland A's. You can't, how much am I really going to weigh that? Again, it's on the schedule. They have to play those games, so I'll give them that. But as we wrap up here, I want to get you guys to the Beyond Average podcast that will be beginning at 8 p.m. But just wrap up our thoughts here. NCAA, I want to see both. I do not want to see both UConn teams. I want to see the women's UConn team in there. I want to see Alabama versus NC State for the men's, and I want to see UConn versus let's see, UConn versus I'll say NC State for the women, and Yankees keep it going. And guess what? The man of the hour, he's going to be Thursday on the show with me, James, saying God bless. God bless you for joining, James, and excited for Thursday. And as we wrap up these last couple minutes, I'll leave it to Ben. Just want to say, too, thank you to everybody for tuning in. Still got a couple minutes left, but want to make sure.
Get in there, Josh.
Yeah. We'll give the floor to Ben. If he sees anything else, we'll leave with this James little point here. But I also want to give the viewers some time. Head on over to the Beyond Average podcast. And this is me finishing the story. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. And let's turn it over to Ben.
Yeah, I'm sure all these WWE fans get to finish the story reference. Everyone go check out that Thursday. I'm not going to be on there. I know everyone's going to miss it. I know all those viewers are going to miss it. But unfortunately, I don't really know WWE. I don't want to distract from the discussion, subtract from it. Be a negative reaction on that. So I'm not going to be there. WWE, shout out, I guess, Roman Reigns. I don't know. John Cena was good in Ricky Stenicki. That's about it. Go watch that movie for John Cena wise. That's my wrestling input. But as always, love the comments. We love it. Go Bruins. Go Bruins, Mel. Just love all the comments. Let's get it from everybody. We appreciate it all. Me and Josh, take it offensively, especially me. I love it. They crack me up. I love listening to these ones too. So shout out to Jackson. Jackson was in here as well. But I'm going to go with my final four. I got both for the women's side, UConn, South Carolina, men's side, Purdue, UConn. I think UConn women's win it. Give me Purdue, Josh. Give me Purdue. I know I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's see if those predictions change, but I'm going to go with those ones. I'm going to end it with this. Go Red Sox, Josh.